Alright, what is going on, everybody? This is Troger MC, and today we're going to be looking at something that isn't from the 90s. So, if you're getting a little tired of me looking at figures from the 90s, well, we're taking a break from that. This is a newer figure. This is the Marvel Select Silver Centurion Iron Man collector's action figure with accessories. And I say the with accessories, that is a bit of an understatement. He comes with a ton of stuff. But yeah, so this is the Silver Centurion Iron Man by Marvel Select. And in case you're wondering why I keep bringing this guy in for all these irrelevant comparisons, here is a relevant comparison finally. So there is Spider-Man with Iron Man. So I think that scale works pretty well. And then as far as how tall he stands, we'll find out going from the bottom of his armor, his armored boot to the top of his head. Looks like he is about 7.5 inches in height. So that's pretty good. He's got some size to him. And then flipping that around to centimeters, looks like he is about 19 centimeters. So this guy is tall, and Marvel Select, they are 1/10, so about 7-inch scale. So pretty much in line with the McFarlane DC multiverse figures. So here is the man himself, Tony Stank. If you've seen Captain America: Civil War, you know why I said that. Even though this isn't a movie figure, but still, this is Tony Stark from from the Iron Man comics, more specifically the Silver Centurion Iron Man. So I don't know exactly if he had a head that looked like this in the comics, like in particular. But he does have some nice detail. I really like the hair that he comes with. That looks really good. It's really nicely textured and sculpted and all of that. You can definitely see like the outlines for like his mustache and all of that. And then with the Iron Man armor itself, I think that it looks really solid. It definitely looks like the Silver Centurion suit, which is actually my favorite Iron Man suit. So I definitely wanted to get this figure because of that alone. That I'm a really big fan of the Silver Centurion armor. So I think that it works really well. I do like this jetpack type thing that he has on his back. And yeah, he has some really sculpted musculature. Like you can see, because I know that not all Iron Man armors are like this, but I know that quite a decent amount of them are, where you can really see the sculpted like muscles for, like how ripped this guy is potentially under the suit. I know that sometimes Iron Man isn't actually that buff, he just makes the suit to look like that. So I don't know if that's exactly the case with this particular guy, but he looks good either way. He's got a lot of defined muscles there, and I also like the look of just the robot suit, in general, because I think the Marvel Select, their Iron Man and Iron Man adjacent figures, basically their robot figures, I think that they really look the best. And this Iron Man here is no exception. I like the rivets in here to look like his suit was put together, manufactured. You got the grooves here. Like I said, you got the musculature, you got more grooves here, and then on the boots. And with the hands, yes, in case you're wondering, he does have his arc reactor, things in there for his hands, and all of his hands come with that. Even his fist hands, they come with that paint, which you will not find on a Marvel Legends figure. At least as far as I know. For the most part, Marvel Legends doesn't bother with that. And yet, these figures are bigger, and for the most part, less or equal the price, and they come with a lot more. So I say that the value is definitely there for Marvel Select. So that is what Iron Man looks like with his Tony Stark head, but he does come with two other heads. This is the head that he comes with in the package. So he's got this like visor, so you could kind of get the idea of what that looks like. So there's that. And then my favorite out of the heads is definitely this one here, where it's a classic Iron Man Silver Centurion helmet, and the details between these are the same. The only difference is this visor piece, which I think is a little unnecessary, but it still looks accurate, and I think this just suits my taste better. So what we can do is we can take his head off, which isn't too difficult, and, put one of these on. So it doesn't really matter which one, because the articulation is going to be the same no matter what. But yeah, that looks pretty good. And then I guess this could be as part of the aesthetic and the accessories. So he does come with these two open hands that look, really good. So that's pretty cool. And then he does come with, like I say, he does come with a fist for each hand, and does have the arc reactor, like repulsor things printed in there, or painted. And then he does come with these two, like, clenching hands, I guess you could say. And he does, again, come with the repulsors there. And then he also comes with even more hands. So if that wasn't enough for you, he does come with these two fisted hands that, yes, do have the repulsors painted in there. But they also have these effects. And I'm not entirely sure what these are supposed to be. If it's supposed to be a thing that he's like, shooting, he's like punching the ground really hard, and this is the effect of it, where he's like moving his hand really fast. I don't know what these are supposed to be, but they look nice. They have like this translucent, like yellow and just clear plastic with them, so that looks pretty cool, even though I'm not entirely sure what they're supposed to be. And he does come with two repulsor firing hands, one on each side, so you can't tell if the repulsor blast is painted or not, but you get these things. Now, mine came a little warped, but you get the idea that it's meant to look like he's shooting these out. So that's pretty cool. And he does come with these two other effects that you can put onto the underside of his feet, because yes, his feet do have peg holes. And so you could do that to make it look like he is flying. So that's pretty cool. And then one other thing is he does come with an alternate arc reactor piece. So I've actually not tried this, but yeah. So this comes out relatively easily, and they can plug this one in to make it look like he is shooting out. So that is pretty cool. I really like that one. So we will get into the other stuff later, but I think for articulation, we should go over that. So his head does look up a little bit, and then it looks down quite a bit. He looks down a lot more than he looks up. But that's okay. He's a guy in a chunky robot suit that spends a lot of time flying, so it makes sense he'd be looking down a lot. Then he does kind of turn to the side a little bit. You do get the rotation, of course. With the arms, these things, the shoulders, do get in the way. But his arms do go out far enough. So if you want to have him asserting his dominance and, moving around like that, like he's a video game character, you could do that. But yeah. So there is theoretically the movement that these arms could move all the way around, but because of the shoulder pads, they really get in the way of that. So just be warned, I personally don't mind it, but just be warned that that could be a turnoff for you. If you want him to move his arms all the way around, he can't because these are in the way. But he does still have a bicep swivel, and he does have a single joint for the elbow. So you get decent enough range. I think for this guy, again, being in a robot suit and having like big arms, I think that it's appropriate. So with the wrists, you do get a hinge and a swivel there. So that looks pretty good. He can be like, stop, or I will shoot you with this. I don't know. So there's that. And then for the torso, you do get a swivel up here, and you do get a little bit of a crunch where he can go forward a little bit and he can go back a little bit. It's not much, but for me, I think it's reasonable. I don't really mind it that much, but just be warned that, again, his torso doesn't move a whole lot. And then for the joint down here, either there isn't one or mine is stuck, but I can't get that one to move. So maybe it can, but for me, based off of what I can tell, it looks like the paint, it looks like what happened is maybe it is supposed to move, but the paint on mine kind of got in the way of that. So I'm not going to bother. I don't want to make it look worse, but yeah, just be warned about that. Now for the legs, this guy actually has a lot of movement in the legs. So he can go forward that far, which I think is pretty good. And he can go back a decent amount, so I think that that's fair. But then for going out to the sides, the guy can actually do the splits, like straight up Iron Man robot suit splits. He can do that really easily. So that is a lot of range. So I think that that is really good. And then as far as other stuff is concerned, yes, he does have a thigh swivel. It does get in the way of the sculpt here. It does kind of interfere with that, so I don't bother. But he does have a thigh swivel. He does have a single jointed knee, and you don't get the best amount of range, but theoretically it can go, yeah, you can kind of see what it's supposed to do there. It's supposed to go back, but mine is a little bit stuck. And then for the ankles, they do go back really far, and then they go forward really far, and then you do get a little bit of a rotation there. So that is about it, and I don't know if this is supposed to do anything, but it looks like maybe these pieces are supposed to come off, but I can't get those to work, so just be warned with that, where it might be a QC thing, it might be a paint thing, I don't know what it is, but it looks like that this guy is supposed to have more articulation than he does, but I personally don't mind. Now, as far as other accessories are concerned, he does come with this, and if you have seen my review of the Marvel Select Spider-Man or Captain America, then you are familiar with this. So you get some stuff for Captain Marvel, Avengers Endgame, and then you have their statues. And it's interesting that they advertise statues for characters that they have not made into figures yet. Like, come on, man, where is the Mysterio? You gotta have a Mysterio Marvel Select figure. That would be really cool. And if you have seen my review for either of the other Marvel Select figures that I have reviewed so far, you know that I've commented on this before and said, why do they show characters on here that they haven't made into figures, especially Kamala Khan? I think they could make an incredible Kamala Khan figure. I am seriously waiting for that. Haven't made her yet, but I hope that they do soon, because I think that she would make a really cool figure. And then he does, not Kamala Khan, because they haven't made her yet, but Iron Man, he does come with a display stand. Now I say that loosely. He does come with a peg hole there that you could attach to his foot. And the intention, I don't know if you saw it, but when I was showing him, he did have a hole right here. So the intention is that you can plug him into the back like that, and you could hold him up. But the problem is the figure is way too heavy for this to hold him up. So be warned with that. You're basically not going to get any mileage out of this. So the display stand is basically useless for this figure, I have to be honest, but maybe it could work for another one. And then the last thing to talk about is, if you collect Marvel Select figures, then you know that these come with absolutely massive packages. Now for Iron Man, in this case, I think it's kind of warranted because, well, this figure came with a ton of stuff. But yeah, so there is that. That gets the idea there for who he is, and also who designed him and who sculpted him. So you got some cool designs there, and yes, I know it shows on the box that the shoulder things can move. I can't get mine to move. So just be warned with that. So, without, that's about it. I don't really have anything else to say. Other than I recommend this figure if you're an Iron Man fan, and maybe if you're looking for like a substitute for Marvel Legends, I totally recommend Marvel Select, easily. Yeah, other than that, if you enjoyed this, do be sure to leave a like. Stay tuned for other videos if you're interested by subscribing. Let me know in the comments what you think. And other than that, we'll see you all later. Goodbye.